What the dude, oh my god, seriously, for a fucking interview, dude, I told you, I don't have time. I need to work. I need to make quests. There is nothing you can do to make me talk. What do you want to know?
So Tom, thanks for agreeing to the interview. Anyway, so tell us something about yourself. Who are you?
Anywho, well, my name is Tomáš Hůsek, and I'm the writer at Madfinger Games. Currently working on Grey Zone Warfare, our newest game. I'm working on the lore, the story, and the quests.
Interesting.
You know.
Well, and how did you start working here?
Well, I was in 2018, I believe. One of my friends was working here. He was in my theater group, which I write screenplays for. So he was an actor there, and he told me that Madfinger is looking for a new writer, which was very lucky because the position wasn't open, to the public. It was like kind of hidden. So he told me, I applied, and thanks to him, I managed to apply even. And I got a task to write some quests for, back then that was Shadowgun Legends. So I did that, and then I got hired. And been doing that ever since.
Okay, so that's what happens to theater kids.
That's what happens to theater kids. Yeah. If you work hard enough, you sometimes will get paid for writing, which is great because that was something that I really wanted to do, ever since I remember. I either wanted to be a movie director or a screenwriter. So this is kind of there. I mean, I also wanted to make games, but then I learned that it's really hard. And it doesn't get easier. And so I'm kind of in the middle of it, and it's great. It's been wonderful.
So you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I would say so. I definitely feel lucky that I managed to have this job.
Yeah, well, I get it. I studied journalism, so.
Oh well, I'm sorry. I studied the theory of interactive media. So.
Oh right, we went to same age school.
Same age school, yeah. So I'm lucky to even have a job. So I was like, no, I'm sorry. It's a great subject. Highly recommended. I loved it. It was great.
Right. Mm-hmm. Very believable.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I remember being I was desperately looking for a job after college. It's surprising that not many people want to employ, a theorist of interactive media. The lowest point was when I even applied as a cleaner in McDonald's. Okay. And they refused me. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm done. There's nothing I can do. So this was a godsend.
Right. So for everyone who's watching this, if it doesn't work out in McDonald's, you can try it in Madfinger Games.
Yeah. If they kick you out of McDonald's, try Madfinger Games because apparently we'll take anybody.
Well, case in point.
Yeah. Well,
theater kid and journalism.
Yeah.
Almost student.
Yeah, did you finish it or did you? Oh, no, of course not. That was a rhetorical question. Yeah. Of course.
Mm. Well, I don't know many people who actually finished it.
Yeah, I guess for a good reason, right?
Yeah, because it's useless. No, it's not.
It's great. It's so great.
No.
No. Okay.
It's amazing.
Right. That was a bit off topic, but never mind.
I don't know if there's on topic in this one.
Oh, well, you seem to be holding a sheet of paper with something.
I could put this away and be a little bit more natural.
Well, I mean, we managed one question and we are completely off the rails already. So
well, I never expected anything else.
Sorry, what?
I never expected anything.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's be completely natural. So
sure, I'm working on it, man.
What are you currently working on?
Well, currently, what do you mean? I'm working on Grey Zone Warfare, of course.
I know, but right now, what?
Right now, quests. It's mostly the quests because we promised. Can I swear?
We'll see.
A metric shit ton of them for early access. A number. Well, I mean, we said over 150. So it's going to be in that range, which is kind of insane. I don't think I've ever seen an early access game. An early access realistic tactical shooter with that amount of quests or missions or tasks or whatever. So really like working on that. So it's as much content as possible, and people can like play it for hours and hours and hours, and hundreds of hours.
Well, we've never done things the way that they should be.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's the Mad Finger way. Hiring us, doing things like, oh yeah. And we wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
Life would be boring.
So yeah, so doing that
Okay.
mostly. That's like 100% of my time.
Yeah. So we talked about what you wanted to do. That it kind of marries your hobbies and your dreams, let's say,
Let's say that, sure.
or your skill set.
Uh-huh.
Does what you do, does your work kind of reflect on your personal life and hobbies?
You mean writing?
Yes, or specifically writing for video games.
I would say that was like the other way around, because I mean I always love to write, and I always love to tell stories. So you know, my hobbies are, for example, playing pen and paper RPGs, you know, Dungeons and Dragons and the sort. I was always the DM, the dungeon master, like always. I've tried playing a couple of times as the player, and I always completely destroyed the game for the DM because I'm an asshole.
Yes.
So that didn't work. I used to do live action role playing, so LARPs, you know, running in the forest with a stick. Used to do that. Theater, of course, my biggest hobby is theater, so writing, directing, sometimes acting, stuff like that. And then lots of reading, mostly science fiction and horror, and watching a shit ton of movies. So yeah, I think it all ties up nicely.
Yeah,
It's all connected.
of course.
Mm. Playing games, Jesus, of course, playing games. I play games. Hope Mara wasn't here to hear that.
Well, he was outside when
I remember, if I can pedal back a bit.
Mhm.
When I got hired here, I had the last interview was with Mara, and he asked me like, so what do I do, stuff like that, and I started like, oh, I studied this and that. He was so completely disinterested. So like after 5 seconds, I was like, but you don't give a shit about that, right? It's like, man, I just want to know, are you a gamer? Like, do you love games? I'm saying, yeah, or I hired. So
Okay.
so but that's great. That's like the player comes first mentality. Like, we really want people that play games in order to make games to, understand what makes it fun, what's bad about it, stuff like that. Because when you have people that don't know anything about games, then they could be a great programmer or a great, I don't know, office manager or whatever. I don't know why I said that. You're not an office manager anymore, are you? Part-time.
Part-time, yeah.
Part-time. But it's always better to have, similarly minded people. And of course, when you're making games, you should also play games.
Oh, yeah. Of course. And like, circle back to the game itself.
Mhm.
Which aspect of Gray Zone Warfare are you looking forward to the most?
Like, to be completely honest, I am not a huge, like, realistic tactical shooter kind of kind of guy. It's not really my genre. I respect it, and I've tried playing some. Not my style, but good. About Gray Zone Warfare, what I really like is the no hand-holding aspect, like the approach to the player. Like, I stopped playing AAA RPGs, like or not RPGs even, AAA games in general, because there's so much hand holding. Like, you're basically just following quest markers. It's like, even, and I'm gonna get so much flack for this, but Skyrim, not a fan, not a fan of Skyrim. Yeah, well, I love Fallout New Vegas, for example, because it wasn't made by Bethesda, but that's fine. Because you're always looking at that quest marker there. It's always leading you straight to your spot. You can't even, like, you can look around, but you're not incentivized to do so. And what I really like about Gray Zone Warfare, that we ditched all of that, and we're basically forcing the players to look at their environments carefully, to think, and to properly inform themselves through the briefings and the objectives. They really need to pay attention and not just look at some quest marker, that's holding their hand. And I think that's very interesting. And I would say that's the most, like, fun or interesting aspect that I really like about the game.
Right. Well, we can basically cancel the interview now because you said you didn't like skating.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm a Morrowind guy, okay? I like Morrowind.
So you're old.
I'm old.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Well, I could have said Daggerfall or something, but no, Morrowind was my first Elder Scrolls, and that bitch didn't give a shit. It's like, yeah, go east of this, and there's a tree, and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that.
This is the first dev interview that we're doing right now. So I hope I don't find out that I have to censor this shit.
Well, we can just bleep it.
Yeah, I know, but it's gonna.
I know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Consider it a benchmark.
So you said you already mentioned that you came to Madfinger Games to work on our previous games.
Yeah.
How different is it to create quests for a realistic tactical FPS in a jungle realistic setting, contemporary setting? How different is it from creating quests for a sci-fi monster shooter game for mobile?
Well, it's completely different. It's completely, absolutely different, and not just the setting, but the way the game operates as well. With our previous games, we had way more control about what happens during the quest and stuff like that. But here, since our focus is the living world aspect, we have basically zero control, which on one hand is awesome because it means that anything can happen to the player. And for some people, they're going to have a mission and they're just going to waltz in, they're going to take some intel and they're going to waltz back. Easy peasy. For some people, it's going to be a 3-hour firefight because somebody else is doing it. The enemy patrol was just walking there. Stuff can happen. Stuff can happen fast, and that's awesome. But for a storytelling kind of from a storytelling kind of view, it's borderline impossible because I can send you somewhere, tell you to do something, but I have no control over what happens to you during that quest. So I really had to re-educate myself on how to approach these things because, as I said, it was way easier before. It's challenging, but I really like it. It's a great challenge, and I hope we'll manage to do our best. And also, we need to take into consideration that when it comes out, it's still going to be in early access, and there's going to be a shit ton of things added. So I'm really looking forward to tweaking it, adding stuff, and just making it better and better and better and better until it's just.
Well, for you as a DM, you mentioned that you are always the DM.
Yeah, I always have been. Yeah.
Is it similar because you often lose control of the story because of the players, but now you cannot adjust anymore?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When you're DMing and the players go completely off the rails, you still can, put shit into the game to kind of rail them back. But here you can't. You just can't. It's a living world. Whatever happens, happens. So big difference and a completely different mindset in designing of the quest and then even how to tell the story. Because since, it's not linear, we won't spawn enemies, just, you moved into this point, so now there's going to be an enemy ambush. No set pieces, no cutscenes, nothing like that. So we strictly need to rely on environmental storytelling and on, background intel items, we call them. And it's just up to the player if they, choose to interact with that or not. The thing is that it's not mandatory. If you just want to go in with your friends, shoot some shit, be all tactical, you can absolutely do that. You can completely ignore the story. But if you want to learn more, if you want to get, engaged with the story, then by all means, you can do that as well.
The hardcore, we talked about how it's different from what you used to do.
Yeah.
Did the hardcore aspect of the game affect the storytelling, or did it go vice versa? Was there any inspiration in real world events?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't want to mention concrete things that are happening in the world today, but we all know what is happening in the world today. So the overall approach to the story and the lore was very quickly changed quite drastically, because originally it was kind of like, oh yeah, PMCs are cool, so PMCs, and this setting is cool, so let's put this. But then real world came a knocking, and we realized that, oh well, this is not actually, it's not that cool. And even that's why we contacted Sean McFate, who has been helping us tremendously. Hi Sean. Thanks bro. And through him we managed to learn a lot about how PMCs operate today. And it's not pretty, it's not black, it's not white, it's gray. So that's why.
Oh.
No, stop it. Don't you even. Don't you dare.
Right.
Sure.
So, and working on Grace on Warfare, would you say that you learned something, or did your writing style or even thinking style change somehow?
Well, I definitely learned a lot more about PMCs. That's the first thing. I've read a lot of books, talked with Sean a lot of times. He's great when it comes to that. Like any question, no matter how stupid it could seem, he's going to answer it without blinking an eye. So that's great. So I learned a lot about that. Learned a lot about writing, as I said, without having full control about how the story unveils. So that's a completely different style. And learned a lot about, well, guns and shit. Because I had to learn about guns and shit. So did that. I was never like, too that much into guns. And I still ain't. But yeah, I had to. And it's always nice when, you can educate yourself, learn a new skill, or try a different point of view about some topic that you didn't care about before. So it was great.
Well, thanks to my finger, I got the chance to shoot a real weapon for the first time. Actually, on our last team building, I realized where you were also a DM.
Oh yeah. Well, not just me, but the other guys from the design team. But yeah, we did that entire team building exercise that was built around our game. We maybe made it a little bit hard. So sorry about that. But
well, my team won.
Well, in that case, it was perfectly balanced.
Well, yeah. Well, don't take this away from me, because we had one team where there was like a group of serious. The whole team building was about airsoft.
Yep.
And you guys created a scenario based on our game, based on Grace on Warfare, so we can try out how it actually feels. And you yourself, you and the rest of the designers created the things.
Yes.
So there was a team of people who were in full camo, professional gear, ready for airsoft. They even had their own guns. Then there was another team that had Spicy in it.
Yes.
You'll see an interview soon if you haven't watched it yet. Who's a professional badass. That guy is like an essence of badass.
Oh yes.
And then there was us.
Yes.
The yellow team.
Yes. I know. Can we say that? Is that fine?
I can say that.
You can say that. Sure. You can say that. Sure.
Then there was us, who we were like artists and programmers, wearing. I was wearing a flowery shirt.
Yeah, like sweatpants and stuff. That was awesome.
We were like children against these people.
And you won.
Yeah, we won.
See,
So
just
one of my main achievements in life. So they don't take this away.
I'm not. But see, we balanced the teams perfectly. So somehow it worked. I don't know how, but so yeah, glad you liked it. Cool. It's not gonna happen anytime soon. So it was surprisingly hard to make, honestly. Like with, yep.
It looked amazing.
Well, thanks.
I'll take a few pictures.
Sure.
Maybe hold the whole screen.
Please do.
You can take a break.
Please, that it wasn't just me. It was the rest of the designers, Marek Mindel and Petr Sihelka as well. Good job, guys.
Oh, and Roman helped us.
Yes, and Roman helped us a lot. So yeah.
So, you kind of talked about it in the beginning, but all gamers are nerds, basically, in some way. And you yourself are a huge nerd.
Thanks.
Attest to that.
Sure.
We've all been to your what do you call them? Pub quizzes.
Well, it's supposed to be a nerd quiz. Like, what do you expect that I'm gonna?
I didn't expect a whole section about Warhammer.
Well, there's some Warhammer fans here. I gave you the spaceship section, and you didn't do so well. So
Ares and Hermes sounds.
It does. It was close enough. Still didn't get a point though. Sorry. We need to do another one, by the way.
Oh yeah, well, maybe like once a year.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Just let me know in advance, and yeah. Why are we talking about this interview?
I just want.
So whatever, you can edit it out. It's fine. No. All right. Yeah. So
back on track.
Mhm.
So everyone knows that nerds and gamers love Easter eggs.
Sure.
Did you manage to hide any of those? We just had Mara talk to some. Mara just had an interview with someone.
Yeah.
And he was asked like, are there any Easter eggs?
Mm-hmm.
And Mara's answer was that he's the creative director, so he'll be the last one to know if there are any Easter eggs. So everyone keeps sneaking them through under his nose. So which ones are you?
I can't neither confirm nor deny such allegations.
So if there's a Starship Troopers or Warhammer, that's it.
That's no. I mean, I get sometimes even subconsciously some of these things like slip by. You call them Easter eggs, but they could be like a tribute, homage. I call it blatant thievery. And yeah, there is something like that there. But I would say I'm trying it to be, or I'm making it very, very subtle because I don't want to pull it away from the experience. It was fine with Shadowgun Legends because that was 80s science fiction, gung ho, sci-fi stuff, and that was a reference per like every 2 sentences was a reference to some movie or to to anything really. That was a lot of fun. But here, since we're making a more grounded and realistic approach, I really don't want the people to be like, oh, I know this from this, I know this from that. But there's a sprinkle. But I don't want it to detract from the overall experience. I mean, at least for now, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think I had the best Easter egg in the game.
No. Oh, that. Well, what Easter egg are you talking about? And look at the camera. I bet nobody will recognize.
Right.
Yeah. Next question, please.
Well, I think that's it for the questions we have prepared.
Oh God, no! That was the last bit. I managed so well till the end.
You need to put emphasis on this.
On what? Okay.
And your statement, your ways of like how you think, how you see the world.
Stop it! Stop it immediately, please.
People need to get to know you.
Sure. I'd rather them not to know me. I literally sit in the office in the corner, in a dark corner. Right.
Yeah. I think someone tried to move you from
yeah, well,
to be from there, and they're not working here.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, you're not lying. I don't know if it's causation or correlation, but that's what happened. Don't take my corner away, man.
You don't know what happened.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm almost empty, so I think we can wrap this up, right?
Okay. Yeah. Well. Now, let's see if this ending is interesting enough and climactic enough for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
This is our first attempt.
Yeah, we'll see.
What happens in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for being here.
Yeah, maybe next time leave the bag alone, all right?
Okay, so...
Bye!